Mosses, the often overlooked but remarkable life of a bryophyte. We've all seen the spongy green mounds of moss popping up in wet spots in forests and in unlikely places such as gaps in the paving and in rocks. But most of us never give these minute plants a second glance. They're actually quite intriguing though, and are the quiet overachievers of many different environments. So let's explore the intricacies of moss, what makes them so special, and why they're so important in an ecosystem. Mosses are small plants belonging to the division Bryophyta, along with hornworts and liverworts. Mosses are non-vascular plants. They lack true roots, stems and leaves and do not have flowers. They are typically 0.2 to 10 centimeters or 0.1 to 3.9 inches tall, though some species are larger. Dawsonia superba is the tallest moss in the world and can grow to 50 centimeters or 20 inches in height. There are approximately 12,000 species of moss in the world. There are two different growth forms of mosses. Number one, cushion mosses, technically called acrocarps, have stems that are single and separate. And number two, carpet mosses, technically called pleurocarps, are more branched and sprawling. Mosses have adapted over 400 million years to survive in a large range of environments, from one of the main plant types in the wet but colder boreal forests, to even the significantly drier forests of Western Australia that are extremely hot in summer. Mosses have succeeded in such a variety of environments due to their desiccation tolerance. Moss plants survive dry periods by going into a dormant state. They appear brown and dead, but they can rehydrate quickly when the water returns. Another adaptation is their lack of a root system. Their simple growth form and structure reduces the need for vascular tissue, and this enables them to grow on a wider range of substrates than vascular plants. Instead of roots, mosses have structures called rhizoids that anchor them to substrates. Mosses absorb water and nutrients directly through their surfaces, so they can survive on nutrient-poor substrates. Mosses are a pioneering species that can colonize bare and disturbed areas and withstand harsh conditions where other plant species cannot survive. They can cover an area and generate soil by the biomass they produce. By creating but also stabilizing the soil, they create conditions that are more favorable for other plants to grow. So they play a crucial role in ecosystems by restoring damaged areas and creating new habitats. The dense mats of pleurocarpus mosses, for example the carpet moss, create shelter and food for microfauna, but also for larger animals. This increases the biodiversity because a wide range of species rely on moss directly and indirectly for their survival. Moss plants recycle nutrients. They keep the moisture levels constant, for example sphagnum moss, or they increase the moisture levels of a habitat, for example sheet moss, by slowly releasing the water they have captured into their surrounding habitat. Moss plants are often found in some symbiotic relationships with fungi and bacteria, enhancing nutrient and water uptake, or improving soil fertility through nitrogen fixation by the symbiotic bacteria. These relationships benefit the moss plants, the bacteria or fungi, but also improve the soil and the local ecosystems for the growth of other plants and animals. The moss life cycle is quite intriguing. They have a gametophyte phase, a sporophyte phase, and then release spores that can grow into gametophytes again to complete the cycle. So let's look at each of these in a bit more detail and explain these terms. Before we do though, we need to understand a few other terms. A diploid organism or cell has two sets of chromosomes in each of its cells. One set came from its mother and the other set from its father. For example, an animal is diploid. Sporophyte plants, which we will look at shortly, are also diploid. A haploid organism or cell has one set of chromosomes, for example, an egg or a sperm. Spores and gametophyte plants, which we will explain shortly, are also haploid. A gamete is a haploid single cell that must fuse with another gamete to form a fertilized egg. Female eggs and male sperms are gametes. A fertilized egg is diploid and is sometimes called a zygote. A spore, like a gamete, is a haploid single cell, but unlike a gamete, a spore can develop into a multicellular organism all by itself. Alright, so let's get back to the life cycle now. A multicellular haploid gametophyte, which is a gamete-producing plant, produces haploid gametes, male sperm and female eggs, that fuse together to form a fertilized egg or zygote. Water is required for the sperm to swim to the egg. The zygote then develops and grows eventually into a multicellular diploid sporophyte. A diploid sporophyte, that is a spore-producing plant, produces haploid spores, each of which develops into a multicellular haploid gametophyte, thus completing the cycle. Mosses can be either dioicous, similar to dioecious and seed plants, or monoicous, similar again to monoecious and seed plants. In dioicous mosses, male and female sex organs are born on different gametophyte plants. In monoicous mosses, both are born on the same plant. For plants other than bryophytes, when you see a plant, you're seeing the sporophyte. For example, a fern is a sporophyte, so is an oak tree or a rose bush. Most plant gametophytes are very small, and in the case of seed-bearing plants, may be wholly enclosed by the sporophyte. The male gametophyte of angiosperms is the pollen grain. The female gametophyte of angiosperms is located within an ovule. A pollen grain attaches to the sticky stigma of a pistil and extends down a tube to fertilize the ovule within the ovary. Seeds then develop, which germinate and grow into new sporophytes. For the moss plant though, the green leafy organism that you see as a moss is the gametophyte. The sporophyte is smaller, a thin stalk-like structure called a seta, with a capsule or spore sac called a sporangium on top. It looks like an inverted golf club, an appendage of the gametophyte to which it is permanently attached. The sporophyte lives essentially as a parasite upon the maternal gametophyte that produced it. During the gametophyte stage, the moss needs to photosynthesize to generate the energy needed for growth and reproduction. Moss reproduction is thus through sexual reproduction as just discussed, or through asexual reproduction by fragmentation. Fragmentation occurs when a piece of the gametophyte breaks off and grows into a new plant. It can also happen by so-called gametecups, which are small cup-shaped structures produced on the gametophyte that produce disc-like clones that are then dispersed to grow into new plants. This type of reproduction enables moss plants to clone themselves and successfully cover large areas relatively quickly. Gardeners typically use fragmentation as it is quicker to develop into new plants. Both of these reproduction methods have to be triggered by favorable environmental conditions. Moss needs the right levels of moisture, light, and temperature to kickstart reproduction. The ecological benefits and health benefits of moss are numerous, so let's go through a few. Number 1, erosion control. Mosses act as protective blankets, stabilizing the ground and holding and slowing the movement of water, reducing soil erosion. Number 2, moisture content of the soil. Mosses capture and hold water, slowing down the evaporation of water from the soil. Number 3, carbon sequestration. Mosses capture and store carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during photosynthesis. Recent research published in the journal Nature reports that globally, soil mosses potentially support 6.4 gigatons more carbon in the soil layer than do bare soils. This represents 6 times the annual global carbon emissions caused by changes in land use, such as agriculture, global deforestation, urbanization, and mining. Protecting moss-rich ecosystems such as peatlands, bogs, and forests is therefore essential for maximizing their carbon storage potential. Number 4, biodiversity support. Mosses create unique microhabitats within their structures, and as pioneer species, they prepare the soil for the growth of other plants. They form a crucial part of the overall biodiversity of forests, wetlands, and other ecosystems. Number 5, water purification. Mosses are natural water filters. They absorb and trap pollutants, heavy metals, and sediments, purifying water as it percolates through their dense sponge-like structures, thus improving water quality in streams and ponds. Number 6, air quality improvement and air humidification. Mosses clean the air by absorbing pollutants like nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. They release moisture into the air through transpiration, maintaining higher humidity levels. And number 7, medicinal properties. Mosses have been used, particularly in Asian cultures, for wound healing and antiseptics and to treat skin conditions. So, mosses, though often overlooked, are vital components of ecosystems, contributing to soil health, water regulation, carbon sequestration, and biodiversity. They also provide several health benefits to living beings, including people. Understanding and preserving these plants is essential, especially in the face of climate change and habitat disturbance. Well, that's it for this week. Let me know in the comments where moss grows near you. And if you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe. Until next time, enjoy.